Hey,
Hey, I can hear you and see you.
I hope the audio is okay.
I can hear you great. I can hear you great.
It's better without the headset then.
Okay. Can you hear me
What a
or should I
beautiful
hold this up to
day.
my mouth? What?
What a beautiful day you have over there, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you want to look around for a sec? See if I can
Sure.
switch it. There it is. There's the town. Yeah.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice.
Well, it's beautiful to see you. I love
I'm
you.
loving
Hi.
you finally after all this time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna this is a Bedside Manor with Howard Chance and Nancy Neithercut.
All right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've been meaning to talk to you forever.
I
I'm so
know. Me
glad.
too.
Yeah, so happy you said yes. Well, I'm gonna put myself out on a limb here right away. Um, this is a weird thing. I know that it's just this and all of that, and but this is the story. I had a vision about you before I saw you, before I met you. It was one
Wow.
of those flashes, and I don't know if a lot of people have these kind of things, and it's just the story of separation. It's just my character talking, but it's the truth of the story. I had this like weird little flash of a hat and a smile and your whole you, and but I'd never seen you. And for some reason I was just compelled to start looking on YouTube where I knew I'd, know you when I saw you. And there you were. Right. And I was like, oh my God, there's right away. And you were my introduction, my very first introduction to like the non-dual kind of section of Facebook, for example.
Yeah.
I was in general population until I hooked up, or until I met you, or until I saw your stuff, and then I found out about exploding rainbows, and I was like, oh my God, she's a poet. It's beautiful. And, I totally resonated with you, um, and from there, things just kind of snowballed for me a little bit. I
uh,
mean, it was pretty weird. You were my intro.
that makes me
Yeah,
cry, Howard. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought, how do I ease that into a conversation? And I said, no, I'm not going to ease it. Nothing happen.
That's beautiful. Yeah, met a kid in India. My husband and I were walking around a park. He came up and he goes, "Oh, you're that big hat non-duality speaker on YouTube."
Yeah.
He didn't know my name, but he called me the big hat lady.
The big hat lady with a smile and the turquoise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So,
I love you too, Howard. I love you too.
Well, I'll shut up here in a minute, but
so there's something about when two poets' hearts meet.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so, what do you feel when you write? I know when things just kind of start, it's just not even me. So what do you feel when things start flowing? You know what I mean?
I love the feeling of the keys under my fingertips. And then the words just magically appear. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, there's no sitting down and going, okay, how do I feel, or what's this or what's that? It's just like I'm supposed to be doing these research papers for school, and I just can't stay away from writing stuff, It's just like,
what research? What are you doing? What are you taking? What's going on there?
Oh, I'm studying to be a nutrition educator. So
God. Didn't I hook up with the right poet?
So I'm taking a research and writing class, which is really hard. It's a lot harder than the classes where you just learn stuff and then maybe do a little research. It's like a lot of research. And anyway, so I'll be looking stuff up, and it's like I just have to go over to the Facebook page and start writing. It's like, okay. Then I go back and look at more research.
I'm so much that way where like if you put me in a structure and tell me I have to, do these things, if I'm not inspired to do that, like for homework and stuff, I was a horrible student. But when I had to do it, I would do it. But to find interest in it is, I would do the same thing. I would go from one, just something to just be free for a while, just let it roll. And
yeah. I mean, it's really interesting. I studied nutrition and biochemistry in college 40 years ago. So I'm just going through it again so I can actually help work with clients. So it's a lot of fun.
So so where are you on it? I mean, do you have a long way to go or?
Well, I started out just by taking lots of classes, and then I realized I should, and I thought about just doing like weight loss counseling or something, but I realized that all my clients would have diabetes and heart disease. And so I started taking more classes, and then I found a program where I can punch everything in and actually do a mentorship program, and I've got to do a business plan program and all that stuff that I absolutely have no clue on how to do anything about. Yeah. So that's far away.
I really get that. Yeah. All of that stuff, computers in general for me. I mean, I've had my phone for 3 years. I still barely know how to use it.
Well, I know that my phone does a lot of stuff that I have no idea what to do. But learning how to write the books, I learned a lot, how to put them together, because I do everything. So, yeah.
You're on your like 9th book, aren't you? Or I mean, you have.
I got 9 books.
Let me see this. I got it written down here. The dream of let me see. The dream of there's a dream of enlightenment. The dream of infinite wonder, dreaming itself. This is it, Coyote, which is classic. I mean, I gotta say that is absolutely classic.
Thank you.
It's just beautiful. It's so solid. It's just from beginning to end, awesome.
Thank you.
This is amazing. I love that. I am the flowing gown of echoes, which is also brilliant. There is no, there's not something inside of us which loves so deeply. It is us, which is just genius. Liquid Eyes was amazing. It was a departure from your normal. I think.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. We were in India, and I only had my phone to write on. So the poems were really short, They were more zen, short things.
That's what I have. I think I might. This one I have to get. Your infinite, intimate embrace. You have never left. I'm telling you, you're the first person you're the first poet that I got, that I knew got me. You know what I mean? Like I knew you knew what I was, what I was trying to tell people. It's so struggling,
Yeah, poetry just seems to work, because it's not saying how it is. It's more like what it feels like, and then all the ambiguous words and phrases that will leave someone's mind hanging. It's like the thought stream has nowhere to go because it's kind of skipped it. It's out of the grooves of assumed knowing, right? The records and all these grooves of assumed knowing, and just skips them out. And then it's like, what? Derailing the train of thought.
That's a beautiful topic, I think, because, how should I say this? Do you think, is there a person that thinks?
No.
So the whole thing about like thought being sourceless, essentially just appears as everything the individual can see as an existence. Like it's so hard for me to say, but it's almost
thought creates
that there is
itself.
somebody thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, thought creates the idea that there's something called thought.
Right. Yeah. And that is the totality of that experience of a subject object, of an individual that is dealing with time and space as things and matter and motion. You're essentially, you know, this subjective position in which all other things are relative. You know, all objects are real and tangible, but it's not even an assumption that you are there. There's nobody there. You know, it's not like
Right, right.
they're looking or observing another, but yet the thought makes you feel. It's that story of
Right.
one thinking about what it's experiencing.
Yeah, and it's a continuous story.
It is.
It has to be, or else nothing, or else there's nothing left. I mean, there's not even nothing, right?
Right.
So when thought stops, there's you and your world disappear. So it has to be continually told, constantly referencing the imaginary self and all these other things in the world. All have to be constantly created, or else it's all gone. Poof. And I don't know. I don't understand what stops the belief in it or the feeling of solidity in it. But for some people, it's slow, and others it seems like it's fast. It's just like, oh, well, there are no things. Guess what? You know, there are no things, and it's just crazy, and it's wonderful, and it's delicious, and I love you.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, the funny, I don't know. The funny thing about it is, you know, there's no way to talk about beyond thought, you know, in that, you know, it's not, we appear to be two different people talking in time and space, but it's the story of the two of us talking. And that is the expression of the totality of existence. In a way, even that is it's so paradoxically, it's just such a mind bender if on the level of mind, you consider it on the level, it's like words, like you always say, the words, you know, are the illusion of the cutting. It's the illusion of you're snipping the whole, but you're not. That's the story of doing it. You know?
Yeah, thought is like a razor, right? You know, a razor cutting apart something which is not a thing. There's not one big thing that can be cut apart. There's just no things whatsoever, nor one big thing called wholeness. There's no thing called emptiness. Those are all imaginary. And it's all illusion, right? And illusion. The fact that it's an illusion is illusion.
There's no way out. I mean, there's no way out, and there's no in to be out of. And so I think one of the most, when I first came into rainbows, like I said, I had not been involved with any kind of non-dual, like a group or anything like that. I didn't even know what non-dual meant. And I was like, you know, but I totally understood what everybody, you know, what people were saying. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And but I started throwing stuff. I started to, the thing is that since I was 8 years old, the funny thing is my little enlightenment story, my very first prayer was when I realized there was no thing. There's no deity. That's my very first prayer ever. And that was where I realized there was no one or no God or no thing, no line, no color, or nothing. And nothing. And the, you know, trying to express that all my life, I would go through spiritual or science, a book. And because invariably you deal with people materialists or spiritualists or something like this, you know, and I would touch on that, but never really gave it that much. But in any case, when I hooked up with you guys, I didn't know how to talk at all. I was like trying to equate the science with the spiritual, and this, you know, it's not anything. It's neither one of these things. And but yeah, you were my introduction to that kind of, you know.
Well, you speak. You are very well spoken now, Howard. Your words flow, and they're very inspirational to me. Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect that because you're, you know, look, I'm just saying, it is what it is. You're amazing, and I love your stuff, and I love your group, and this is it. You know, I wrote a bunch of stuff. I was like watching some of your links, and I'm just writing stuff as I go. And you said something about source to somebody, and I remembered, and I immediately remembered like you were kind of you were letting me, kind of grow a little bit, but I had mentioned something about God or a deity or alluded to something like that, and all you said was you said, we talked a little bit and very politely. You said, but there is no source, correct? And I was like, absolutely not. It is sourceless. And I just remembered that. I mean, in that context, do you remember that? You just very simply were like, but there is no source, correct? And I was like, I always thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, it is the beauty, isn't it? It's the unknown, it's the lack of solidity, and then realizing that you can't even say that it's liquid. It's neither moving nor non-moving, and it's completely beyond making any kind of sense. And it's fantastical. It's so fantastic, when this first happened, I had never heard of non-duality. All the stuff I'd read was Dzogchen, Buddhist Zen stuff. I didn't know where to look for others who might know this song. I had no clue. So, but you went a lot of years before meeting people who are singing your heart song.
Well, it's a weird thing, but see, that was another thing that I related with you as well, that you helped me with as well, because all my life it's been this thing where you got to be careful. I mean, you got to make a living, you don't want to throw this out, because people think you're insane. You just say, look, people think you're literally insane, and really the people that do get it, they're like, yeah, great, and it's not really, you don't have to spend a lot of time, but. So, and there's no reason to convince anybody anyway. You know what I mean? So you open up this whole big can of worms for really no reason, because except for to hurt your character or whatever. Like, I don't want to get in an argument about, like you said, that's what you said, I think. You said, it killed me. You don't want to start talking about this on a crowded bus.
No. Well, I learned as a kid. As a kid, when I knew there was no God, I realized when I was really young that you just don't even talk about that. And so when this happened, it was just the same thing. I think part of getting used to it was kind of learning how to hide the love, really. The love that is just so overflowing for everyone. You learn how to hide it, especially if you're a girl, I think, because getting older will help, I suppose, but people think that you're coming on to them, even girls. So I remember before this happened, when it was all starting to explode for me, I walked into Walmart and I just said hi to the vegetable guy. That's it. And he started following me around the store. And I was like, oh man, you have to hide that. And that's sad, but there's just this incredible love that you feel for everyone. And it's, you have to hide it, but it's okay. There's other ways of saying I love you too.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think that's what, that you seem to have reached that, place where, you don't necessarily have to tell somebody what appears to be the nature of reality, other than just give them a smile and a hug, and just, give them a hand or just be nice to them. Because really, I mean, there's no reason to do it, and it's just bizarre to me that, you seem to have, it's much like, most of I don't know, just people reach a place where they don't need to prove anything.
No, there's no test, there's no authority, and there's no question.
There's
What happens is like, well, there's no question that, that this occurred, because for me it was all of a sudden, okay, well, there's no, You don't need to take a test or prove yourself or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was beautiful because, like I said, the I had all with general population, it's the spiritual stuff and the science. You're trying to tell people that things don't exist, and they said, well, what do you mean by that? I mean, and then I would go
I
down
didn't even tell that,
the study. I was just fascinated by the fact that there is no answer to that. The matter has no answer. Even no matter what, however way you want to do it, it's not definable. You can't. But that was the only way I knew how to communicate, because I mean, within science or spiritual, and I could never put my finger on it. And then I met you, and Non-Duality came out. I mean, just kind of appeared, and I was like, oh, duh, not two, duh.
Beautiful. Very, like when this first happened, it's like, what am I going to do? Go to my friends and go, guess what? There are no things. That'll work.
Simplicity of it. I mean, you don't necessarily have to know quantum physics. I mean, but it's nice to know that physics negates itself and all of that, but you can expand on it. I mean, you could just be into the reality of the lack of an objective reality. It's both real and unreal.
Yeah. Neither this nor that, nor both, nor neither. I mean, it's so obvious, and yet it can't be spoken of. Like I was taught right when we were writing poems the other day, and I said, you slide off the Mobius strip and there's no sides left, because I remember as a kid, Mobius strips were really cool, and it's in the shape of an infinity, but it's like it breaks and everything slides off. The strip disappears, the edges disappear. They never were. And it's beautiful. And it's unspeakably beautiful. So what's left? What's left is just being an ordinary woman, just in love as love through love. I mean, it is so beautiful.
I love the way you use things like life is a blooming dream, songs that sing themselves. Can you elaborate on that? Like, the songs that sing themselves, for me, means a lack of cause. I mean, there is no cause. There are no strings to the marionette that is existence. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just there are no ends, there's no outside. If there's no outside, there's no inside. So the dream of separation dreams itself, simultaneously self-arising and self-erasing without ever crystallizing into anything or things. And so it's instantaneous without time or non-time, without movement or non-movement. And it's so beautiful that there is no other, no next, that, like the book I wrote is, this is it, Coyote, but there really is no this and there really is no it.
Yeah.
But it's, or you should go back and change it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, isn't that beautiful though, that like to say, it's just this, you can't. I mean, it just doesn't. There is no this, so you can't even. There are no words. So beautiful.
It is so beautiful. It's beautiful. You are beautiful.
It's you, I think, helped me realize that you don't necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to you don't have to make sense of it all the time. You don't have to like be logical, or you don't have to justify, just simply be paradoxically just totally mesmerized. There's no reason to need to explain yourself for that. It truly is unspeakable.
Yeah. It is truly and most beautifully unspeakable. You know, it's the loss of all questions about what is love, what is beauty, you know, what is this? There is no this, there is no love, there is no beauty. That's why I always say it's all love, there is no love. You know, and that
Yeah,
just kind of puts it together. Maybe that should be the title of the next book.
well,
I'm rolling around titles for the next one.
that's something I wanted to ask you about. There, I heard you say that before. It's all love, there is no love. Can you
Yeah.
a little bit of that?
Well, the words are self-canceling. So it's like, it's what it feels like, right? It feels like love has swept through the dream of things, you know, erasing all belief in things, erasing belief in love herself. The, the, the fire of love burns even itself. And so there's not even nothing, not even emptiness. And yet it all feels like love, the fullness and the emptiness, which are not exclusive. You know, it just feels the seamlessness. The seamlessness is just so astounding, and it always astounding. And people will say, well, how can you stand to be in awe all the time? And I'm like, I'm not in awe. This is just awe. This is just wonder. This is just fantastical. In this vibrant aliveness, so obvious, so elusive, so nonsensical.
And that's really when you know, the how do you say, the paradox of it, but the losing of the self, um, losing the meaning of the knowledge of the loss of purpose, meaning, reason, losing
Yeah,
all of it is
yeah,
really when it blooms. You know, when there is no holding or anything to hold, it's just a story.
yeah,
And you know, you seem to be a part of it, you know, but it's,
yeah,
you know, and you fade in and out of that character, you know, just floating around like, oh my God, it's just dropping and the waterfall and just buzzing around a little,
yeah,
and, you know,
yeah,
really down the stream, and then the next thing, back in the
yeah. And
water.
the whirlpools of knowing it's a story, and knowing it's a story is a story, and the whirlpools spin around, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, it's just not knowing what anything is, because there are no things. It's so wondrous. I think it's like the lines the lines are all made up. There are no lines. There is no illusion. It's all illusion. I mean, all the words that, like you said, cancel each other out is what spins into this delicious unknowing. You know, this most magnificent feeling of love, I suppose. Love, of awe. What is it? I don't know. What is this feeling? Not feeling separate from feeling. There's no quest to discover what the feeling is. No desire to pinpoint anything.
It's getting kind of hard to hear you, Nancy.
Oh, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I'm gonna get some
Oh,
better
that's
internet.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, well,
gonna
you know what?
go.
Fridays are probably a little crowded here. We can try again midweek next week.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then you could put the two together if you want.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, you could put the talks together. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of those things where, you know, the weirdest thing about these, you know, some of the best meetings or some of the best conversations I have on I haven't been doing it long, but I think this will be my 17th or 18th discussion. But
Wow.
yeah, the coolest thing about them is you can go through, like, some of them are hours, right? And you could go through hours, there would be like an hour of nothing really, just kind of chit chat almost. It could kind of meander. And then the next thing you know, someone will say something, and the next thing the conversation goes into this place where, that's why we just recorded for 2 hours, for that 2 minutes. For that
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what, Howard? Like I said, the signal in town is a lot better in midweek. So if you want to, we could just get back together Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday and try that. And you could put them together if you want to.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
I can.
I can hear you now. And if you want to, we can continue, or we can stop now. Which would, it's up to you. I would still like to do it again next Thursday as well.
Oh yeah, we can keep talking. I'm just sitting under this tree on the street.
well, let me see. Oh, here's a good one. This is what I love about you.
Okay.
You said, I knew it was a good thing. Paradoxes aside, you said, and I just knew it was a good thing. And a lot of people, I've said that too, like, you don't have anything to worry about. They're like, well, what does that mean? Well, I would ask you, what do you mean? How do you know it was a good thing? What does that mean?
Oh, when this happened, that it was a good thing?
Well, just the shift. The shift itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, I usually, if you look at my story, I usually say that before this happened, 6 months into the roller coaster year, when joy and sorrow merged, I couldn't tell the difference. And I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know anything. I didn't know non-duality people. I had no one I was talking to. So I was kind of clearly on my own, but whatever's going on, this is gonna be good, because it just felt like, heart exploding, love, magnificence. Yeah, and then and that was good because it prepared me for the next few months, which were prepared too.
I love that too. The tearing part of it too, because you cannot have that love. See, it's the dualistic nature of, love. Yes, I understand, but it's in the absence of self. Most people say it's unconditional love, but don't know what that. Really, the self can't deal with that. There's no way. Love is
Right.
like a shadow without an object to cast a shadow or a light. So for me, it's one of these things where love just doesn't cover it, because it's so much, it's just so much better than that. It's like, I would say that love is a shadow. And so I love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. And it's a shadow of what, and I kind of got the feeling that you were saying the same thing, when you were saying that to somebody else. I knew it was a good thing. And
Yeah. Well,
there's
I have to say that I hesitated using that word a lot, because I'd hear people say, "Oh, you are love," and it all sounded like cliche,
Yeah.
stupid, But I never found a better word.
Yeah.
I have I think it's the intro to one of my books, and I recorded it, which is just love seems to work just fine. I understand why people are hesitant to use it. However, it just seems to work.
The beautiful thing about it is how it comes through with the honesty of the tearing and the shredding apart. That when you start getting into that aspect of just the individual, the fear of loss or the fear of death, like you
Yeah.
literally lose yourself, and that evaporation, just, oh my God, I don't exist, but to actually be obliterated within that paradigm of an individual that it is losing an existence. You don't even have that, because there's no you to have. There's
Right.
nothing. And so when that happens, it is death to the individual, but at the same
Yeah.
time, once you realize that there really was no individual in the first place, it just bam, just bam.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's very difficult to articulate that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, that's there's no there's no self saying that. I think did I lose you? I lost your video. But yeah, I think I lost you, Nancy. I'm not sure. I can't hear you, and your video's out. Maybe we should try it during the week. And I'm so grateful that you're doing this with me. And I'm going to check you on Messenger right now to see what you want to do. Again, thank you so much. And we can continue this part 2 on Thursday.